rose with the sun and the roosters cry. Coffee in hand, eyes to the sky. With dirt-stained jeans and a Bible worn, he walked the fields where grace was born. He'd hum a hymn with every row and quote the word while seeds would sow. Man don't live by bread alone, he'd say, while working that patch of lawn. He planted seeds in scriptures deep, in fertile ground and souls asleep. He fed the earth, he fed the soul, with every furrow, every goal. He never preached behind stained glass, he preached with every blade of grass. Neighbors came when times got rough for garden greens and gospel stuff. He'd give them food and words to chew and say the Lord provides for you. The rain would fall, the droughts would stay, but he never lost the will to pray. And when the harvest came in slow, he'd thank the Lord for what did grow. He planted seeds in scriptures deep, for faith to rise and roots to keep. Not every crop made it to sale, but truth and love would never fail. He tilled the soil and hearts as well, with gospel truths no tongue could tell. Now the rows lie still, his boots are gone, but his garden hums a sacred song. And on each breeze you still might hear, he planted seeds and drew souls near. She stirred the pot on a rusty stove in a house where love was the only gold. With apron stained and shoes worn thin, she kept the light of heaven in. Mornings came with scrambled eggs, little boots had tangled legs. She packed their lunch, then bowed her head, whispered grace for what lay ahead. She fed the kids and read the Psalms with weary hands and a mother's calm. No choir sang, no pulpit praised, but faith was born in the life she raised. In every crumb and scripture song, she fed the kids and read the Psalms. The TV flickered in the dark, but she lit candles with Noah's Ark. While others chased the world's applause, she sold her soul in God's own laws. She'd hum Amazing Grace at night, with tear-stained cheeks and hope inside. Her Bible lay beside her bed, with bookmarks in the words she fed. She fed the kids and read the Psalms through fever nights and thunder's bombs. No headlines tell of all she gave, but heaven knows the heart she saved. With love that held and truth that calmed, she fed the kids and read the Psalms. Now the house stands still, but stories roam of a mother who made faith feel like home. An angel smile when someone prays, like she once did on quiet days. The cupboard bare, the lights turned low. No money left, no place to go. But she stirred the pot with steady grace and smiled like angels filled the place.
The kids all asked, "What's for tonight?" She lit a candle, whispered light, then bowed her head and softly prayed for daily bread, Lord, you always knew. She said the Lord never missed a meal, though the pantry's thin, His love is real. I've seen Him stretch what little I hold, make soup from faith and crumbs from gold. No need for riches or iron and steel. The Lord never missed a meal.
She fed the kids with hands worn thin, then hummed a hymn through the night again. No feast of kings, no silver tray, but every bite was served with praise.
Some folks trust in stocks and stores, but she leaned on heaven's doors. And when the storm came knocking loud, her table still drew in a crowd. She said the Lord never missed a meal. He knows each sparrow, knows how I feel. He sends enough to get me through. A sack of beans, a sky so blue. And when I pray, I always kneel, 'cause the Lord never missed a meal. Now she's gone, but her table stands with a Bible and two weathered hands. And when I'm low, I hear her still. She said the Lord never missed a meal.
He wore a tie that had seen better days, clutched a folder filled with hope and haze, stood in line with his head held low. His dreams slipped off like the morning snow. Folks around him stared at their shoes, counting the bills, counting bad news. But in his heart a whisper stirred, not from man, but from God's word. He found grace in the unemployment line, not in wealth, but in the divine. While the world said you're falling behind, he heard, my child, you're still mine. No office door, no grand design, but he found grace in the unemployment line. He met a vet with a worn-out coat. They shared a sandwich and a Bible quote. Two strangers broke bread and broke their pride, and felt the Lord sit down beside. Sometimes blessings wear a broken face, sometimes mercy stands in disgrace. He lost his job, but not his name, the one God wrote in holy flame. He found grace in the unemployment line, where the soul gets stripped of worldly shine. He saw the truth in the hardest times, that peace don't need a dollar sign. He stood with tears, not a sign to whine. He found grace in the unemployment line. And now he says with a humble grin, God shows up where we're empty within. Not every prayer comes dressed in time, but he found grace in the unemployment line. Lines on his face told stories unsaid, of fights in the field and tears he had shed. Worked with bruised hands, back bent low, but his eyes still carried a heavenward glow. They laid him off when the mill shut down. He walked home slow through a quiet town, with a Bible in one hand and bills in the other. He knelt that night and prayed for his brother. He took the hits but never lost hope, clung to the rock when the world let go. Storms came fast and the nights got cold, but he found grace in the stories told. A battered man with a heart full of rope. He took the hits but never lost hope. His boy got sick and the bill stacked high, but he never cursed at the midnight sky. He sang old hymns neath hospital lights and held his son through the hardest nights. He said, this world can bruise, but can't define a soul that walks with the Lord's design. I ain't perfect, but I'm still standing, 'cause God don't quit, He keeps commanding. He took the hits, but never lost hope, wore his faith like a weathered coat. With each scar came a deeper song that whispered, son, just hold on. Through loss and fire and frayed up rope, he took the hits, but never lost hope. Now the preacher says from that old pine pew, he was a man this world never quite knew, but heaven sure did. He walked that slope, took the hits, and never lost hope. She folded the blanket she never would use, rocked an empty cradle in quiet blues. The sun shone through the nursery door, but her arms felt colder than ever before. He found her praying by the garden wall, hands on her belly, whispering through it all. I don't understand, Lord, but I still believe. You give, you take, and you never leave. She lost the baby, but not the light. Still lit a candle every night. Though her world had cracked and bled, she bowed her heart, not her head. Faith held her through the longest night. She lost the baby, but not the light. The neighbors spoke in hush and grace. She's strong, they said, but look at her face. Yet in her eyes a quiet flame burned on, a mother's love where life had gone. There's a room up high in heaven's halls, with lullabies on golden walls, and someday she'll rock her child again in the arms of angels, free from pain. She lost the baby, but not the light. Still sang to heaven every night. Her tears were seeds in sacred ground, where mercy bloomed and hope was found. She lost the baby, but not the light. Held by faith, not by sight. walks the fields with lifted eyes, under forgiving open skies. She's still a mother in God's own sight. She lost the baby, but never the light. I slammed that church door back in '92. Said I'm done with preaching and Sunday truth. I laughed off grace like it was a joke, and lit up a world in a cloud of smoke. I swore I'd never kneel again, never sing those hymns or say amen. I had my reasons, I had my pride, but no one saw how much I cried. I said I'd never come back, but I did, with a heart worn thin and a soul I hid. Walked in quiet, sat in the back. No one stared, no one asked. The pews were old, the light was dim, but the love I left was still with him. I once ran far, like a reckless kid. I said I'd never come back, but I did. I passed that steeple for 20 years, each time with a pocket full of fears, till one day I just pulled in slow, with nothing left but hope below. The choir sang an old familiar song, every line said I belong. I felt a tear run down my face, and knew I'd found my resting place. I said I'd never come back, but I did, to the faith I lost and the grace I hid. No lightning flash, no angels cry, just open arms and nothing to hide. The roof still leaks, the paint's worn thin, but heaven never closed its end. He waded through all that I forbid. I said I'd never come back, but I did. So if you're running, thinking it's too late, just know he's standing at the gate. I said I'd never come back, but I did. I sat alone on a broken chair, in a room full of silence and stale air. The pictures on the wall look through me, just ghosts of the man I used to be. Ashamed of the choices I had made, each memory like a rusted blade. But I felt a presence soft and near,
No thunder rolled, just quiet and clear. He sat beside my regret, didn't say a word, didn't judge or forget. He didn't fix what I had done, just stayed till the morning sun. No lightning flash, no holy thread, just love that hadn't left me yet. He sat beside my regret. I'd prayed before with practiced lines, but this time I just ran out of time. No fancy plea, no grand repent, just tears in the weight of what I meant. He sat beside my regret, didn't tally wrongs, didn't make me sweat. He let me cry, let silence speak, and held my soul when I felt weak. No choir sang, no angels wept, just a shepherd who had never stepped away from me or my regret. He knows the dark I try to hide, but still he walks right by my side. He didn't wait till I was clean, he met me right where pain had been. He sat beside my regret, and somehow made me not forget. But forgive myself and stand up slow, with mercy only heaven knows. Now every time I start to fret, I look back on the night we met, when he sat beside my regret. He's still there when I recall that grace don't mind a man who falls. He sat beside my regret, and he's not done with me yet.
The diner lights were flickering, the coffee getting cold. I sat there with my demons, feeling 40 years old. A trucker's hymn played soft on the jukebox near the door. I'd run from grace for decades, couldn't run no more. The waitress saw I hadn't touched my plate, said, son, it ain't too late to set things straight. I laughed it off, but Lord, the tears came through. She left a Bible where my menu used to be, page open too. He forgave me on a Tuesday night. No choir, no church, just a neon light. No preacher's robe, just a worn out jeans, and the weight of every sin I'd seen. I said, Lord, I don't deserve your grace, but mercy met me in that roadside place. He didn't wait for Sunday's light. He forgave me on a Tuesday night. The wind was whistling through the diesel lot. I lit a smoke, then crushed it, gave up what I fought. The silence hit like thunder in my chest. I whispered, Jesus, if you're near, I need some rest. No stained glass window, no steeple bell,
but heaven opened up right there. I could tell a prayer I barely knew how to pray brought a peace that never went away. He forgave me on a Tuesday night. No choir, no church, just a neon light. No altar call, just a broken man holding tight to his outstretched hand. I said, Lord, I don't deserve your grace, but he showed up in that lonesome place. Didn't wait for Sunday's light. He forgave me on a Tuesday night. Now every Tuesday I still bow my head, thanking God for the words I finally said. He didn't wait for me to get it right. He forgave me on a Tuesday night.
I once sang loud in Sunday pews with Mama's smile and Daddy's shoes, but I traded hymns for smoke and sin and let the silence settle in. Years went by, my voice grew cold, my soul felt tired, my heart felt old, till one night under a bitter moon, I heard a whisper hum a tune. Even a prodigal can sing again, though the roads are rough and the heart's been bent. Grace don't care how long it's been since you last spoke his name in the wind. He don't wait for perfect men. Even a prodigal can sing again. I came back home on weary feet, with nothing left but a soul to beat. The church was small, the lights were dim, but I found a pew and sang a hymn. Even a prodigal can sing again, with a cracked up voice and a soul to mend. Heaven don't need a flawless tone, just one more child coming home. And when I thought I'd reached my end, he proved a prodigal can sing again. The Father met me with open arms. He didn't ask about the scars. He just said, son, come on in. There's room for you in grace again. Even a prodigal can sing again, with a song of hope where shame had been. There's mercy woven in every chord for the broken heart returning to the Lord. So if you're lost and wearing sin, just know a prodigal can sing again. Yeah, he tuned my soul like a weathered string. Now I lift my voice and I sing. Even a prodigal can sing again.
I stood there in silence, no alibis, no clever words or tearless eyes. I'd run out of stories, run out of pride, with nothing to offer and nowhere to hide. I'd hurt the ones that loved me most. I chased the world and lost the ghost. I knelt down low with a trembling voice, not looking for pity, just a better choice. I asked for forgiveness, not excuses. I laid down my shame, not my bruises. Didn't beg for a light load, just mercy on this worn out road. I didn't plead to be understood, just to be cleansed and called back good. I asked for forgiveness, not excuses. And grace did what I thought it couldn't do. The cross don't ask for reasons why, it just stands there 'neath the sky, where justice met a sinner's cry and gave me love I can't deny. I asked for forgiveness, not excuses. I laid down my past, not my uses. Didn't ask to be spared the cost, just to find hope in what I lost. I didn't bargain, didn't explain, I just confessed my soul and pain. I asked for forgiveness, not excuses. And he wrapped me in truth like morning dew. He didn't need a perfect plea, just a broken man inside of me. He saw the truth I tried to mask and answered more than I could ask. I asked for forgiveness, not excuses. I gave him my ruins, not my ruses. And in return he gave me peace, a kind of freedom that doesn't cease. No blame to shift, no one to blame, just one old heart calling his name. I asked for forgiveness, not excuses, and found a Savior ever true. Now when I fall I rise again, not on excuses but on Him. I asked for forgiveness, and He came through.
I was sleeping in my sorrow, lying on a bed of blame. Empty bottles, shattered yesterdays, and a heart too broke to name. I thought I'd gone too far this time. No prayer left in my soul, but even there in that despair, He came and made me whole. He met me at my lowest, didn't wait till I was clean. He knelt down in my darkness where no man else had been. He didn't flinch at all my failure or the stench of my regret. He met me at my lowest, and He ain't left me yet. I wasn't in a Sunday suit, wasn't sitting in a pew. I was cussing at the ceiling, saying, God, where are you? But He showed up in the silence with the love I can't explain. Took my hand and told me gently, son, I still know your name. He met me at my lowest, didn't wait till I was clean. He knelt down in my darkness where no man else had been. He didn't flinch at all my failure or the stench of my regret. He met me at my lowest, and He ain't left me yet. He came not with judgment, but with scars just like mine. He lifted my burden and gave back my time. He met me at my lowest, and I've never been the same. Now I walk with new direction, washed in mercy, not in shame. He found me in the valley where the broken hearts all dwell. He met me at my lowest, and He pulled me out of hell. Four cold walls and a metal bed, steel bars sang the life I led. I'd made my peace with doing time, but not with the man inside my mind. My cellmate prayed each night at 10, said the Lord still walks with guilty men. I laughed at first, then cried alone, with a Bible left from someone gone. From jailhouse to Jesus I made the climb, not by steps, but through my crimes. He didn't wait outside the gate, He met me right behind my fate. I found more mercy than I deserved, in that old verse I finally heard. From jailhouse to Jesus I came home. No choir, no preacher's hand, just concrete floors and contraband. But grace can bloom in the strangest ground, and heaven hears a sinner's sound. From jailhouse to Jesus I made the climb, not with pride but with borrowed time. He didn't ask how deep I'd sinned, He just said, son, begin again. I traded chains for a brand new name and wore my guilt like honest flame. From jailhouse to Jesus I came home. Some folks think that grace is neat, that it walks in church is clean and sweet. But I met God with a busted past, and He held me close at last. From jailhouse to Jesus He pulled me through. Said I died for men like you. Now I walk free, those scars remain, each one a hymn in redemption's name. No longer lost, no need to roam. From jailhouse to Jesus I came home. So if you're low and feeling done, just know the cross can reach anyone. From jailhouse to Jesus, He still calls us home. I was driving nowhere fast on a Friday night, just me and my guilt beneath a dashboard light. Whiskey on my breath, hope running thin, looking for a way to start again. Past that old church on County Road 10, hadn't stepped inside since who knows when. But something pulled me, I turned around, parked by the gate, not a soul in town. And the church door wasn't locked that night, no one asked why. I looked affrighted, I walked in slow, sat in the back, tears falling like a railroad track. Didn't need a sermon, didn't need a clock, just grace and the fact. The church door wasn't locked. Pews were worn, the Bible stayed still, but the silence spoke louder than the pills. No choir sang, no candles burned, just me and the lesson my soul had learned. Cause the church door wasn't locked that night, and mercy found me in flickering light. I came with shame, I left with peace, a prodigal son finding sweet release. Didn't need much, just a sacred spot and the quiet truth that the church door wasn't locked. Some folks find God in a preacher's words, some in the verses they've always heard. But me, I found Him in a wooden pew, and I thought I was through. He proved me new. So leave the lights on, leave the latch undone, for the broken, the battered, the on the run. You never know who's knocking late, looking for just one open gate. Salvation don't need a fancy talk, just an open heart and a church door that's not locked. Yeah, I think words were gone, my voice ran dry. Too many tears to even try. I stood there heavy, full of shame. No fancy prayer, no holy name, but somehow he knew just where I stood. In the silence he understood. I didn't need to beg or plead, 'cause my heart fell down before my knees. When I couldn't speak, my knees did. They hit the ground where mercy lives. I bowed down low in the dirt and dust. Too weak to talk, but strong enough to trust. No sermon said, no grand display, just a soul too lost to find the way. When I couldn't speak, my knees did, and heaven heard me anyway. The barn was cold, the dawn was near, but somehow grace was drawing near. The floor beneath became my throne, where I met God just skin and bone. When I couldn't speak, my knees did. They hit the ground where mercy lives. I bowed down low in the dirt and dust. Too weak to talk, but strong enough to trust. No sermon said, no grand display, just a soul too lost to find the way. When I couldn't speak, my knees did, and heaven heard me anyway. You don't need perfect words, just truth. Just a heart that bends like weathered roots. He reads the silence, sees the fall, and catches those who give their all. When I couldn't speak, my knees did, and that was all he ever needed. No choir sang, no candles burned, just one man praying with nothing earned. He touched my soul, forgave my past, and stood me up with love that lasts. When I couldn't speak, my knees did, and that was more than words could say. Now I know when words fall short, there's still a way to reach the Lord. When I couldn't speak, my knees did. I tried to sing like I used to do, but the words got lost in the weight I knew. The melody cracked, the pitch fell low, like my heart just didn't want to go. My prayer came out more like a sigh. Didn't feel holy, didn't sound right, but through the silence, through the ache, I felt something start to break. My broken voice still reached heaven, through the pain and through the tears I'd given. It wasn't loud, it wasn't strong, but grace don't need a perfect song. He heard the hurt I couldn't even say. My broken voice still found its way. I used to think I had to shine, to speak in verses, to sound divine, but all it took was truth and need, and a God who listens when we bleed. Yeah, my broken voice still reached heaven, though I sang off key and barely begging. No golden choir, no preacher's tone, just a weary soul crying alone. But somehow it rose
clouds and clay. My broken voice still found its way. So if you're choking on your prayer, thinking no one's really there, just whisper low, just breathe his name. You'll never cry in Jesus' name in vain. 'Cause my broken voice still reached heaven, and yours will too, no matter the session. He hears the whispers, he holds the moan, he walks with you through the unknown. You don't need perfect words to pray, just a heart that's trying, and he'll make a way. Yeah, my broken voice still reached heaven, and he answered me like a father listens. Mama set the table round 6 each night, biscuits in the basket, sweet tea just right. Daddy bowed his head, calloused hands laced, and thanked the Lord with quiet grace. We didn't wear robes, no steeple inside, just folded hands and soft kitchen light. But love sat down in that humble room, and what we shared felt like a sacred tune. That wasn't just supper, it was communion, a little bit of heaven in the dining room union. Forgiveness passed with the butter and bread, mercy served with the words we said, laughter, tears, and truth in reunion. That wasn't just supper, it was communion. Sometimes there was silence, sometimes a fight, but Daddy would say, let's make it right. And by dessert, we'd all feel whole, like grace had found its way back home. Mama's cornbread could heal your soul, and those green beans made the broken whole. It wasn't the food that made it divine, it was the Spirit poured with every line. That wasn't just supper, it was communion, a little bit of Calvary in the Tuesday union. Love poured out in mashed potato bowls, truth laid bare in casserole souls. What we had was more than tradition or reunion. That wasn't just supper, it was communion. Table's empty, the chairs are still, but I set 2 plates when I need to fill that sacred peace, that holy place where grace wore an apron and smiled with grace. That wasn't just supper, it was communion, a lifetime of faith in a nightly reunion.
where bread and love were passed around, and Jesus came without a sound. No stained glass, just a kitchen's illumination. That wasn't just supper, it was communion.
I was stubborn, lost and running from the truth I didn't want to face. Spent my Sundays sleeping in, not a thought about God's grace. But He'd call me every weekend with that calm old preacher tone. Said, son, one day you'll understand, you ain't meant to walk alone. He walked me down the aisle to Jesus in that chapel where He prayed. With a trembling hand and tear-filled eyes, He showed me the narrow way. I'd wandered far, but He stayed near with mercy in His call. He walked me down the aisle to Jesus before I even knew I'd fall. He didn't preach with fancy words, just lived like faith was breathing. Fixed my truck, fed my pride, and never stopped believing. When Mama left this world too soon, He held my hand through pain and whispered, son, there's comfort in that old amazing name. He walked me down the aisle to Jesus in that chapel worn with time. I heard the choir sing just as I am, and knew that grace was mine. His faith lit up that country pew like a beacon through it all. He walked me down the aisle to Jesus the day I finally heard the call. Now I'm the one that calls my boy each Sunday with a prayer, hoping he'll see what I'll know and feel that heaven's care. And when the time comes, Lord, let me be like Dad was years ago, a guide with hands that tremble, but a heart that won't let go. He walked me down the aisle to Jesus with love that never gave, a father's faith that carried me right to the arms that save. And when my own son takes that step, I'll be there if he falls, to walk him down the aisle to Jesus, the greatest walk of all. She's by the window in her apron blue, water warm and the sunlight too, plates from supper, cups from tea, and a worn out hymn in a minor key.
An old choir stood behind her back, just a radio hum and the faucets cracked. But every note she softly sang felt like church bells gently rang. She hummed hymns over the dishes like prayers poured through the steam. Every note held all her wishes and a faith I didn't always see. But in those suds and simple sounds, heaven's love was passed around. No stained glass, no holy riches. She hummed hymns over the dishes. She didn't preach, she didn't shout, but I knew what her soul was about. Blessed assurance, amazing grace, she sang peace into that place. While I was young and running wild, she was praying for her child. With a plate in hand and hope in heart, she played her quiet, sacred part. She hummed hymns over the dishes like prayers poured through the steam. Every note held all her wishes and a faith I didn't always see. But in those suds and simple sounds, heaven's love was passed around. No stained glass, no holy riches. She hummed hymns over the dishes. Now when I wash my own night's mess and life feels heavy more or less, I catch myself in a low refrain, singing her song once again. I hum hymns over the dishes and feel her presence near. Every note a bridge that stitches all she taught me through the years. There's power in those little things, like soap and grace and angels' wings. Through quiet acts, her faith still wishes. She hummed hymns over the dishes. Yeah, the sink was her pulpit, and her heart a holy place. I spent my life building walls of stone, trying to be a man who walks alone. Swallowed my pain, wore a tough disguise, but it all broke down one Sunday night. I hit my knees on a hardwood floor, couldn't fake it anymore. No fancy words, just a broken sound, tears falling as I bowed down. I cried like a child, he held me like a father, didn't pull away, didn't even bother to ask me why I'd stayed so far. He just wrapped me in who he is, not who I are. No shame, no blame, just grace poured over. I cried like a child, he held me like a father. All those years I thought I had to earn the love that he gave with no concern. Turns out he'd been right there, still waiting for my heart to finally kneel. Yeah, I cried like a child, and he held me like his own. In that quiet place where mercy's known, I brought him my ruin, he gave me peace. his arms my sorrow ceased. He didn't need strong, he just needed honest water. I cried like a child, he held me like a father. There's nothing we can fall in love. Sometimes the strongest thing's letting go. And when I did, he didn't wait. He ran to me through heaven's gate. So if you're tired of pretending you're fine, let your soul be the one to resign. There's no fear in his embrace, just a Father full of endless grace. I found home and love like no other. When I cried like a child, and he held me like a father. Yeah, I cried like a child, and he held me like a father. I found the bottom of a bottle more than once. Thought it held peace, thought it packed some punch. The devil poured shots and whispered lies, told me comfort came in a glass of rye. I drank away the love I had, burned some bridges, drove folks mad, laughed through pain, cursed through tears, woke up hollow for too many years. The devil got me drunk, but God got me sober. Picked me up when the party was over, when the lights went dark and the bar went still. He met me down at the end of my will. I gave hell my nights, thought grace was over. But the devil got me drunk, and God got me sober. I hit my knees on a motel floor with a Bible I'd never opened before. Didn't know what to pray or say, but he heard the groan I gave that day. Yeah, the devil got me drunk, but God got me clean, washed the shame I thought would never leave. He didn't shame me, didn't scold, just took the bottle and gave me gold. I ain't who I was, I'm a new man, older. The devil got me drunk, but God got me sober. Now I raise a cup of coffee each sunrise and thank the Lord for clearing my eyes. I still fight, but I don't fight alone. Mercy moved in and made me home. So if you're lost with a drink in hand, brother, I know you can barely stand, but grace walks in where shame don't dare. You'll find him there if you just care. He don't need you perfect, just a soul turned over. Yeah, the devil got you drunk, but God can get you sober. He got me sober, and he's still holding